Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Well, authorities in New South Wales are trying to get on top of an outbreak of coronavirus linked to a Sydney pub as more cases are diagnosed. The latest health alerts come on the eve of direct flights resuming between Sydney and Hobart, but the Tasmanian government says it remains vigilant.
Queuing at the hub of Sydney's latest cluster of COVID-19 cases. These cars backed up for testing at the Crossroads Hotel.
So I'm a little bit concerned because I didn't find out until Saturday night. A family member told me what had happened, and I've been all the way up the mid-north coast.
Just making sure everything's all right. I work in the area too, so hopefully, cross our fingers, everything's all good.
New South Wales recording 14 additional cases last night, taking the state's total to 3,303. 21 cases now directly linked to the pub at Casula in Sydney's southwest.
The key issue that I'm focusing on is the fact that these individuals had presented for testing, we've diagnosed them, and we can then work with the community to get awareness out and for the community to come forward for testing.
Alerts have been issued for multiple venues, including Sydney Star Casino, where it's been revealed people visited while unknowingly infected.
I think what we need to realise is that nobody's immune. It doesn't matter where you live, everybody is going to be at risk of this virus.
As cases jump in Sydney, tomorrow we'll see the first direct flights from there touch down in Tasmania, as Virgin Australia relaunches its service between Sydney and Hobart.
Whatever happens in other states, particularly Victoria and now New South Wales, we'll continue to take public health advice.
What happens with other states and territories, the government has to listen to public health advice and follow that public health advice, and it's absolutely imperative that individuals who are subject to quarantine orders play by the rules.
But there are fears some aren't, with 2 people charged over the weekend after allegedly breaching home quarantine restrictions.
One person will infect maybe 3, and each of those 3 will infect another 3, and so on. And it doesn't take long for that to become a major problem.
Tough penalties apply for those who breach those conditions, and rightly so, because the majority of Tasmanians have lived by the rules, continue to observe the rules, continue to observe social distancing to keep Tasmanians safe.
Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
The federal government has ended free childcare for families from today. There are already signs of Tasmanian parents feeling the pinch.
Another bill added to the list from today, with the federal government's free childcare scheme ending. Shannon Oloka has 2 children in daycare, and while her job hasn't been impacted by the pandemic, she says it will add pressure to the family's budget.
It's hard enough for families to juggle childcare costs as it is. To add COVID and depleted work hours or changes in their work, it's really struggling. I think it's just a struggle for families.
Kate Fogarty was stood down for 6 weeks at the height of the pandemic. She has 2 children in daycare and would have permanently lost their places had she stopped childcare for that period.
If we didn't get that subsidy helped out and I had to stop work for the 6 weeks like I did, we wouldn't have been able to put our kids into daycare.
Lady Gallery Childcare is already seeing the impact, with more than 100 changes to care arrangements made in recent weeks.
We're just already starting to see some withdrawals, not total withdrawals, reduction in care arrangements.
While free childcare is ending, an additional subsidy is available to families experiencing temporary financial hardship. Applications can be made through the Education Department's website. Meanwhile, early childhood workers will be the first group of people in the country to be off JobKeeper payments, with the sector ineligible from next week. Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
A blaze has destroyed a home in Hobart's northern suburbs this afternoon. Multiple crews arrived to the Risdon Vale property to find it completely alight just after 3:30. An occupant sustained minor smoke inhalation and was treated at the scene. Investigations into the cause will be conducted tomorrow, with a fire watch maintained overnight. Sharp Airlines has made a complaint against Regional Express to the ACCC for what it describes as anti-competitive conduct. Rex recently began services between Wynyard and King Island, a route it has not previously operated. Sharp Airlines says it is not commercially viable to have two operators on this route and accuses Rex of predatory behaviour by expanding its network while other airlines are struggling. A Tasmanian tourism business has applied to the Fair Work Commission to be relieved from paying redundancies to former workers. Coal River Farm said it couldn't afford to pay $24,000 owed to two workers who were terminated in June. The business argued it has seen an 80% reduction in revenue as a result of coronavirus, has a sizable debt to the tax office and is at risk of going insolvent in the next few months. The Commission found while Coal River Farm is facing significant challenges, the evidence didn't sufficiently prove it can't pay the workers' entitlements. Labor is renewing its calls for an overhaul of the state's political donations laws, releasing a draft bill. But the state government has taken aim at the party for what it says is a case of recycling old policies.
Early works are underway on the $70 million Southern Remand Centre.
We are on time and on track with this project. It has had its own challenges with COVID-19, where we've actually had to manage the workplace and the work sites.
But it's not just this excavator that's doing the digging. Labor's been accused of digging up the past.
This has been Labor's long-held policy for a very long time. The fact is that these laws are broken. We've got the weakest political donation laws in the country.
This is not something that is simple. It's quite a complex reform, and we won't be pushed by Labor into a knee-jerk reaction, or as they've done, is recycle their old policy.
Labor's draft bill into political donations has opened for public consultation today.
Our bill would require every candidate and every sitting MP and every political party to disclose any donation that they receive over $1,000 or cumulative donations from one donor that add up to $1,000 or more.
Currently, political parties only have to declare donations of more than $13,800. The proposed laws would also see anonymous donations of more than $1,000 banned and election campaigns for parties capped at $1 million. The state government received a report into electoral donations reform late last year.
We're considering that review. We won't be rushed into this. We have been rightly focused on COVID-19.
It's timely with upper house elections for Rosevears and Huon just under 3 weeks away.
We are concerned that it's silent on the most corrosive aspect of political donations, and that's donations from developers, gambling interests, from foreign donors.
The bill will be tabled at the next Parliament sitting. Letitia Wallace, 7 Tasmania News.
Tim Payne has opened up about becoming the Australian Test cricket captain during the team's darkest period. Payne replaced Steve Smith during the third Test against South Africa in 2018 after Smith stood down in the wake of the ball tampering scandal. Describing himself as an accidental captain, the Tasmanian cricketer says selectors told him about his new role just moments before play.
I sort of remember that feeling, thinking, well, who's captain, who's doing what today? And then, Trevor Holmes came in and said, by the way, for the rest of the game, Payne is captain. And
Payne says notes he'd kept from his playing days have helped him grow into the role. Well, there's a warning for dog owners tonight over canine coronavirus. Clarence Council says its South Street Dog Park and other exercise areas could be a hotspot for the virus. It says there have been recent reports of the disease at local vets, which can spread between dogs through faeces. Canine coronavirus isn't related to COVID-19. Tasmanian Formula 3 driver Alex Peroni has finished the weekend's round in Austria with another finish just outside the top 10. But it could have been a lot worse for the rising star, who narrowly avoided trouble on 3 occasions in last night's race.
Following monsoon conditions on Saturday, sunny skies greeted Formula 3 drivers last night. Starting from 11th on the grid, it was a tough first lap for Alex Peroni.
Hughes continues. Off the road in the background there, Alex Peroni for the time being. Logan Sargent looking up the inside. Peroni off the road at turn 1 and turn 3.
Those incidents seeing him drop to 14th. as he also narrowly avoided trouble again on lap 12. Peroni eventually recovering to finish the race where he started in 11th. The quarter-final draw for the Women's Statewide Cup and Men's Lacquer Seljuk Cup was made this morning. In the Lacco, Launceston City are away to Hobart United. Turuna drew Glenorchy. Olympia Warriors will host Giant Killers University, while South Hobart entertains Kinborough. While in the statewide, high scorers Clarence and Northern Rangers will face off. Beachside will host Olympia. Kinborough drew Riverside Olympic, and University will play South Hobart. Football Tasmania thrilled with the return to play over the weekend.
Great to see people running around the park and from all levels. So we had youth and statewide cup matches over the weekend. It was just fantastic to see people back.
And Tasmanians Cameron Worth and Will Clark were in the thick of the action in the latest stage of the virtual Tour de France. Clark was on track to win before being swamped by 3 other riders metres from the line to finish 4th.
Will Clark looking for another victory for the team of Trek Segafredo, but coming past him on the line. What a sprint. Who's going to take it? Freddie Ovett.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
In the TSL, Launceston and Lauderdale players are feeling a little sore this week after their first league match in 10 months. Both sides secured first-up wins on Saturday.
After a longer than usual pre-season, footy returned to Tasmania over the weekend. Players from across the competition glad to be back, but also feeling the effects of the long layoff.
Sort of ease our way into it. It's definitely some skill areas that we can sort of improve on, and yeah, we'll just hopefully be better as the season goes ahead.
So I'm sure everyone's pulled up a bit sore after such a long layoff and it was a contested game on the weekend.
Launceston are in a good mood after coming away from Glenorchy with the points. Defence a key feature of their win, keeping the Magpies goalless after half-time. Tyrrell heaping praise on budding defensive star Jamison House.
Surprisingly, he's only 19. He's a big boy, so just that big body presence, and yeah, everyone loves him.
Their focus now turns to local rivals and reigning premier North Launceston.
That's when we play our best footies, when we're competitive, and I reckon we can really take it up to them.
Lauderdale also pleased with their first-up effort against Clarence. New recruit Will Pollard says the Southern Bombers can only get better, confident they can challenge this season.
They look good on the track, everyone looks really fit, raring to go, and you can only improve from the first game, so hopefully, yeah.
The club also securing a coup in signing Adrian Kalkowski. The Victorian just glad to be playing after coronavirus wiped out this state season.
Pretty lucky. It's better than sitting on the couch back in Melbourne. I just wanted to play some footy no matter where it was, and yeah, just grateful for the opportunity to come down here.
The Southern Bombers host Glenorchy this week. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
And the votes are in for the RACT Player of the Year in the TSL after round 1. Launceston's Jamison House was judged best of field in the Blues' impressive win over Glenorchy. Josh McGuinness claimed the 3 votes after guiding Lauderdale to a 41-point win over Clarence. And North Launceston's Braden Van Buren is off to a flyer, best on ground in his side's narrow win over North Hobart.
Good evening. -5 started the day at Lyawini with temperatures peaking at 15 in Smithton. Hobart, Launceston, Burnie and Devonport all recording 13. King Island and Flinders 14 today. Lowhead, Friendly Beaches and Grove 13. Strawn 12. Ouse 9. Lyawini warmed up to 4. A few showers over the east and southeast with extensive low cloud there. Picton and Mount Wellington just 1 millimetre. Scattered low to middle cloud lies over southern New South Wales. Thunderstorms in the cloud band offshore there. Most of the nation cloud free. Just a little over southwest WA completes the picture. Tomorrow a high sits over our region and influences most of the country. A cold front and trough move over southern Western Australia. Winds east to southeast at 5 to 15 knots, grading to 20 knots over northern waters. Light winds inland. Hobart expecting 11 tomorrow, a cloudy day. Same for Adventure Bay, -2 to start the day at Tarraleah, a top of 8 later. Launceston 13 and partly cloudy, same for Devonport and Bridport, all on that number. Burnie tomorrow, 13 degrees as well and partly cloudy, a sunny day for Strawn and 12 the top, 13 for Marrawar. St Helens tomorrow, 13, a light shower or 2 in the east, Swansea 12 and Whitemark, a possible light shower and 14. On Wednesday, fine apart from light showers over the east and southeast, a frost for some on Thursday with another shower over the east and an even colder start on Friday, followed by a fine partly cloudy day. A possible early storm in Perth tomorrow, sunny and 15 in Adelaide, partly cloudy in Melbourne, a windy, rainy day for Sydney and sunny further north. Clear conditions here, 5 degrees in Hobart, 8 in Launceston, Devonport currently 7. Kim, you've taken me back to the 70s. I used to love tie-dyeing my gear as well.
Oh, you were so rude. I'm a lovely flower petal. Thank you, Murph. That's all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Good night.